hidden world exists deep inside every U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, a place where some sailors can spend weeks, sometimes even months, without ever seeing daylight, not because of an emergency, not because something went wrong, simply because that is where they work. Far below the roar of jet engines and the chaos of the flight deck, an entirely different world operates around the clock. Buried inside the carrier's massive steel structure are 11 separate levels packed with command centers, weapons systems, nuclear reactors, workshops, living quarters, medical facilities, and restricted compartments that most civilians will never see. When people picture an aircraft carrier, they imagine fighter jets launching into the sky. They see the flight deck, the towering island, and the immense size of the ship itself. But that visible portion is only a fraction of the story. Beneath the surface lies the vast network of systems and personnel that keep this floating fortress alive every second of every day. And some of what exists down there is far more surprising than most people realize. Today, we are going to descend level by level, from the flight deck at the very top to the deepest compartments hidden near the bottom of the ship. Along the way, you will discover how thousands of sailors live, work, fight, and survive inside one of the most complex machines ever built. From above, the carrier already looks enormous, but appearances can be deceiving. What you see from the outside represents less than 10% of the vessel's true structure. The overwhelming majority of the ship is concealed beneath the flight deck, hidden from public view. Take the USS Gerald R. currently the most advanced aircraft carrier in the United States Navy. Stretching 333 meters from bow to stern, weighing nearly 100,000 tons, and costing approximately $13.3 billion to build, it is one of the largest and most sophisticated warships ever constructed. But here is the detail most people never hear about. Beneath that massive flight deck are 11 levels of operations, engineering spaces, weapons storage areas, command facilities, living quarters, medical centers, maintenance workshops, and highly restricted compartments that few people outside the Navy have ever seen. So, what is actually hidden inside this floating city? Before we descend into the carrier's depths, if you are proud of the men and women of the U.S. Navy who keep these incredible ships operating day and night across the world's oceans, comment "proud" below. The first major space below the flight deck is the hangar bay. On a Nimitz or Ford-class aircraft carrier, the hangar bay spans 3 decks in height, meaning its ceiling alone is comparable to a 3-story building, while its length stretches hundreds of meters across the ship's interior. This is where the aircraft are stored, maintained, and prepared between missions. Modern carrier-based jets like the FA-18 Super Hornet and the F-35C are specifically engineered with folding wings to operate efficiently in this confined environment, allowing more aircraft to be packed into limited space without sacrificing accessibility. Each aircraft occupies a footprint comparable to a small apartment. Yet despite this, a carrier can accommodate up to around 90 aircraft, requiring an extremely organized system of positioning, movement, and maintenance scheduling that functions more like precision choreography than simple storage. Aircraft are arranged based on operational status, such as mission readiness, maintenance requirements, or deployment role. Jets requiring repairs are positioned in designated maintenance zones, while ready aircraft are kept in quick-access formations to ensure rapid launch capability when needed. Movement inside the hangar bay is handled by specialized tow tractors, which carefully navigate narrow corridors between aircraft, repositioning them with controlled precision. Once prepared for flight, aircraft are transported to the flight deck using 4 massive elevators. Each elevator is roughly the size of a tennis court and serves as a critical link between the hangar bay and the flight operations above, enabling continuous launch and recovery cycles. These hydraulic lifts are powerful enough to carry 2 fully loaded fighter jets at the same time. At the far rear of the hangar bay, deep in the stern of the ship, lies the Aircraft Intermediate Maintenance Division, a fully equipped onboard repair facility where mechanics work around the clock, fixing, testing, and restoring critical aircraft systems to ensure every jet is mission-ready. Connected to these workshops is the fantail, a small open-air section at the very back of the carrier, and the only place on the ship where jet engines can be safely run at full power for final blast tests before returning to service. Think about that. Every aircraft that launches from the flight deck has already been repaired, inspected, and tested inside the same ship, completely hidden from the outside world. When a jet is launched, it accelerates from 0 to about 160 miles per hour in roughly 3 seconds. That level of acceleration is not produced by the jet engine alone, but by the combination of the aircraft and the carrier's launch system working together in perfect synchronization. It comes from a launch system hidden directly underneath the takeoff strip. On the older Nimitz-class carriers, the catapult rooms were filled with massive steam pipes and pressure systems that took up enormous amounts of space. The catapult piping launch room sits right under the takeoff strip, directly beneath where pilots hurtle into the sky. On the newer Ford-class carriers, everything changed. The steam catapult was replaced by EML, the electromagnetic aircraft launch system. Instead of steam pressure, EMALS uses a linear induction motor, essentially a controlled electromagnetic force, to accelerate the aircraft down the track. The control rooms for this system sit under the hangar, protected deep inside the hull where enemy fire cannot reach them. The result? Smoother launches, less stress on the airframe. Before we go any deeper, and we are about to get to the rooms that almost nobody talks about, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. A U.S. Navy supercarrier can carry an enormous quantity of ordnance, missiles, bombs, and torpedoes. It is stored in refrigerated, pressurized magazine rooms deep below the waterline. Getting weapons from those deep magazines up to the jets used to be a slow, labor-intensive process. Sailors would move bombs by hand on small carts, riding elevators up through multiple levels. On the USS Gerald R. Ford, that changed entirely. 11 advanced weapons elevators powered by the same electromagnetic technology as the launch system now move ordnance from the deep magazines directly to the weapons handling and assembly area, and then straight up to the flight deck. The goal, as one rear admiral described it, was rearming aircraft in minutes instead of hours. The USS Gerald R. Ford runs on two A-1B nuclear reactors built by Capsule. Each one produces 300 megawatts of electrical power. Together, that is 600 megawatts. And here is the extraordinary part. The ship only needs half of that power for its current systems. The reactors heat water to produce steam. That steam drives turbines. Those turbines generate electricity for the entire ship. The launch system, the weapons elevators, the radar, the kitchens, the medical ward, everything. Reactor engineers wear radiation monitors at all times. They follow schedules so precise that every minute near the reactor is planned and recorded. Some sailors on the Ford have served for months and never seen the reactor room. It is simply off limits. The reactor does not need to be refueled for approximately 15 to 25 years. That means the ship can go anywhere in the world at any time without fuel. No permission required, just open ocean and the will to move. Now we told about the ship's secret armor. Below the reactor rooms, below the magazine rooms, there is one more layer of protection. The entire lower hull is built with 2 layers of thick steel plating separated by a gap. If an enemy torpedo or underwater mine punches through the outer layer, the inner layer holds. The ship does not flood. This double bottom runs the full length of the ship. It is built into the very structure of the keel, the iron backbone at the lowest point of the hull. It is invisible from the inside unless you know where to look. The same structural thinking applies to the bulkheads, the internal walls that divide the ship into sealed compartments. The older Admiral Knetsvy, Russia's only carrier, has 3,857 designated areas inside its hull. American carriers have parallel difficulty. Every compartment has a code stamped on the wall called a bullseye, telling you exactly where you are and what the room is used for. New sailors must learn to navigate from their living quarters to their workstation in under 10 minutes. Some never fully master it. Life below the deck, the city that never stops. Below the flight deck, behind the weapons and the reactors and the machinery, live nearly 5,000 human beings. They eat, sleep, work, exercise, visit the dentist, and call home, all without ever touching land. On older carriers, enlisted sailors slept in large compartments with 60 other people, 3 bunks stacked on top of each other, 1 small locker, a shared bathroom, and no natural light. For crew members stationed deep in the ship, weeks could pass without seeing sunlight. On the USS Gerald R. Ford, living conditions were redesigned. Smaller berthing units replaced the massive open compartments. Wireless internet was installed. In July of 2024, the USS Abraham Lincoln was upgraded with a full USO center featuring lounge chairs, a gaming room, and private soundproofed phone booths where sailors could call home for 15 minutes. The Navy called it a commitment to quality of life at sea. The USS Gerald R. Ford's medical facility includes an operating room, an intensive care unit, a pharmacy, and an emergency department. 30 trained Corps men staff and 11 medical officers at all times. There are multiple mess halls feeding thousands of sailors several times a day, along with an internal television and radio system that broadcasts exclusively across the ship. Deep inside the vessel, control rooms operate continuously, managing everything from navigation to engineering and combat systems, effectively running the ship from the inside out. Here is something that goes against what most people assume. The island, The small tower rising above the flight deck often looks like the main command center for the entire carrier. It does handle flight operations and air traffic control, but it is only one part of a much larger command network. In reality, most of the ship's critical control rooms are located below the flight deck, deep within the protected interior of the vessel. This includes engineering control spaces, damage control centers, and systems that coordinate propulsion, power distribution, and weapons operations. The island is intentionally kept as compact as possible. This design reduces vulnerability in combat and ensures that the ship's most essential command functions are distributed throughout multiple secure compartments rather than concentrated in one exposed structure. The bridge, the chart room, the radar systems, and the flight deck control room are up top. The Carrier Intelligence Center, known as CVIC, is one of those spaces. This is where intelligence specialists receive, analyze, and distribute information to the rest of the ship. What happens inside it is not discussed publicly. During combat readiness drills called Condition Zebra, the ship seals every watertight compartment and every hatch. Each section was isolated from the next to prevent any single hit from sinking the whole vessel. Something that nobody talks about is time capsule. On July 11, 2013, a small metal compartment was welded into the structure of the USS Gerald R during its construction, just above the flight deck. Inside it are a piece of sandstone from the White House, Navy coins, and items associated with the commanding officer. The capsule was placed there as a symbolic gesture and was personally overseen by Susan Ford Bales, the daughter of President Gerald Ford. Along with it, the ship's massive island superstructure, the towering steel command center that weighs hundreds of tons, was designed to remain sealed and untouched for the entire service life of the vessel. Hidden within the structure between the flight deck and the island, these sealed items are expected to remain undisturbed for the ship's full operational lifespan of around 50 years, meaning they could stay inside until approximately 2067. A piece of the White House, permanently sealed inside one of the most advanced warships ever built. But the real story of the USS Gerald R. is what lies below. 11 levels of steel, fuel, weapons systems, nuclear power, thousands of crew members, a fully functioning hospital, and compartments most people will never see. This is what an aircraft carrier truly is. The men and women who operate these ships live and work in one of the most complex engineered environments ever created. They are highly trained professionals carrying out demanding missions far from shore, where precision and coordination define every second of operation. If this video gave you a new respect for what goes into operating one of these ships, and for the people who do it, hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel so you never miss what we cover next. We will see you in the next one. Stay vigilant.